Welcome to Craft a Smile. I'm Catherine, and thanks for stopping by my craft studio today. I think you're going to enjoy making this quick and easy card made with a minimum of products. The reason it's so easy is because we're just going to do some stamping and then run that piece of paper through an embossing folder, and that's 3/4 of the project done. You could add some ribbon if you like, or you can leave the ribbon off as you choose. So I'll show you what we're going to need today. First, we're going to need some stamps. I'm using the Fun Stamper's Journey Paisley Prince stamp and also some Studio G smaller Paisley prints, which I've had for a very long time. You'll need some stamping blocks. I have mine mounted already. And you're going to need an embossing folder. Today I'm using this Crafter's Companion Petite Dots. For the ink, I'm using a variety of color box inks and a Memento ink pad in Danube Blue. So I'll move those out of the way. We're also going to need some paper. And I'm using, for my card base, I'm using the Nina Classic Crest 110 pound white. And it's I've cut it along the long edge of the paper, so the dimensions are 11 by 4 1/4, and I've scored it at 5 1/2. This is some Fun Stamper's Journey Blue Lagoon cardstock. It's nice 80-pound cardstock, and I've cut it at 5 1/4 by 4, so there'll be a 1/4 inch border all around. And I'm using also Fun Stamper's Journey Whipped Cream. I've cut that at 5 by 3 3/4. And so when this is layered, this will also give a 1/4 inch border all around. You'll need some scissors, a little bit of ribbon, some dot adhesive, and I'll tell you why you need dot adhesive later on. And I'm using a bone folder as well. So now I'm going to speed up the video so that it'll be a little quicker. I'm just going to make almost a background design with my stamps, and I'm going to use some different colors. These color box inks, the first one was the Spa, and now I'm using the Moss Green on a different one of the designs from the Fun Stamper's Journey set. And I'm just going to fill in as I see necessary, and I'll even stamp some of them off the page so that they look like they extend beyond the palette that I'm using. Okay, so now we have a little green guy at the bottom, and I've got more of these Studio G stamps that I'm using. And I believe this color is the pool color. And then I'm going to take this little flower stamp that also came with that Fun Stamper's Journey. And I first used the Danube Blue Memento. I stamped it off so it would be a little bit lighter color. And now I'm using the baby blue color box ink. So now that I decided I have enough of a design on my paper, I'm going to run this through my embossing folder. I'm just trying to line up the dots because they are a specific pattern in a line. It's not a random dot. Just making sure that they're even on both sides so that they look uniform. And I'm going to run it through my embossing machine, die cutting machine. And here we have our nifty stamped and embossed paper. So I'm going to add my ribbon on the back now. I'm just going to put a little bit of dot adhesive, flip that around, and just make it secure. When I'm done, I can just check the front to make sure it's even, but with the dots it's kind of easy to line it up. Okay, so now comes the fun part, trying to tie a bow, because when you have ribbon that's only printed on one side, it makes it a little more difficult because you want to make sure that that pattern ends up on the outside of your ribbon. So you'll see that what I'm going to do is, once I have it partially tied, I'm going to go in and flip that ribbon in the center around a little bit so that the pattern is on the outside of my knot in the middle. I just think it looks nicer. So now I'll trim it, and then I'm going to fold the ribbon, and I'm going to cut towards the center. So I'm just folding the ribbon in half, and then I'll point the blade of my scissor towards the top and snip it off so that it comes out like a banner edge. Okay, so now all I need to do is layer my embossed piece onto the blue layer. And what I'm doing is I'm using that dot adhesive on a piece of scratch paper that I can throw out, because I want the dots to be right at the very edge. There's not as much surface area when you emboss a piece of paper, because obviously some of them are debossed and you don't get glue on it. So I always try to bring it right to the very edge. I don't like the way it looks when it's sticking up anywhere around the side of it. So then I just need to attach that piece to my white card base. And I'll do that pretty easily here. Okay, so now I'm going to fold my card base, and then I'll just make sure that that's nice and crisp with my bone folder. So there you have it, a pretty easy, quick card. You can use any stamps that you have, don't need to use mine. These are those are Stampin' Up! Stamps, little flower stamps. You could even do it without the layers. This was a one-layer card that I stamped and embossed, and I rubbed some ink over the top of that just to give it a little texture. And there's another example of that. So I hope you've enjoyed this. If you like the card and you want to see more, please give me a thumbs up.